How is everybody doing today? This is Hairdressing Live, and today we have a very, very special guest for myself and for many of you out there as well. We have the very talented Kevin Luchmun with us today. It was Esquire that listed Kevin as one of the most influential men's hairdressers in Britain, and we're super excited to have him with us today. So welcome, Kevin.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Safe flight over, was it?
Yeah, it's good. Early morning start, but it's good. I'm used to early mornings, you know.
Well, used to. He's a well-travelled, seasoned traveller anyway, aren't you?
Yeah.
This guy flies all over the world educating people, and we're lucky enough to have him with us today. So listen, Kevin, tell our viewers anyway a little bit about you and where you've come from, your history, and how you got into hairdressing originally.
Yeah. So I've been cutting hair now probably about 15, coming up 16 years now. Actually started back when I was at college, and one of my friends basically, he wanted a haircut. So from there, like, I had a pair of clippers because I always had short hair, and then from that he just ended up cutting his hair, and then my other friends clocked on, they wanted their haircut, so started cutting their hair.
Free haircuts or something?
It was, yeah. It was more or less haircuts.
Right, give us a quick haircut. Yeah.
I think it was haircuts for cigarettes or haircuts for, like, you know, drinks and whatever else. But it was cool. It was like, it's something when I was at college and at school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Like, I was always very much a creative person. Like, I loved my art, you know, I loved doing things like that. And then it's crazy, like, I fell into it, and then it was from that, then I thought to myself, do you know what, I really enjoy doing this. And then luckily enough, one of my friends, she was working in the barbershop from my hometown in Maidstone, Kent, where I'm originally from. She got me the job there, and then started cutting hair. Maidstone, Kent.
Maidstone, yeah.
So that's where I'm from originally.
What barbers was that?
It was called AJ's Barbershop. So it's a small, like, I think back then we charged like £5.50 a haircut. It's very much an in and out barbershop. It was a multicultural barbershop, but it was cool. Like,
I'm sure you learned a lot there, though, did you?
And gained a lot of experience. And what I probably gained from there was speed and time. Yeah. Because very much what it was, you'd pay like £40 or £50 a day to rent the chair, and then it's like everything else that you made. So it's like the more haircuts you've done, the more money you get, basically. Okay, so I kind of sped up on my haircuts and all that.
How quick were the haircuts, can I ask?
15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes.
Wow,
yeah. But I wouldn't want to cross-check them now. No, that wasn't probably the most technically executed haircuts. But from there, I worked there for about 1.5 years, and then I basically wanted to gain more experience. And then I remember, like, back then I was actually at college as well. And
college doing what?
Well, I retrained to do hairdressing. So when I was doing that, they had obviously the trips to Salon International. And I remember going to Salon International, and I saw MK, a guy called MK, like, on stage, and he works in a barbershop in North London, and he was working alongside Andis, and they was doing all the designs and clipper designs in the hair. And I was like, oh, wow, this looks amazing, you know, I'd love to, like, get involved with that. So kind of went back home, Googled where he worked, and then just kind of reached to him, and then ended up getting a job for him. So then I was with him for like 4 years, and he was one who really taught me about, like, how to, you know, fade hair and work on an afro hair, working on designs and stuff like that. So it was an amazing experience. He got me involved with the Afro Hair Show in the Alexandra Palace. So similar to Salon International, but more focusing on the sort of Afro type hair textures. And then I was doing, like, Battle of the Barbers. So that was the first experience of doing competitions. So Battle of the Barbers, a lot of people don't really know about these competitions, because what Battle of the Barbers was you'd have a table like this, you'd be sitting your model in a chair like this, and you'd get like 20 minutes to do a design in the back.
Okay, sorry everybody. Anyway, we had a little technical glitch there. I'm going to blame Kevin for that, actually.
It was me, sorry, I was texting on my phone. No.
Anyway,
yeah,
you're talking about the competitions.
Yeah, so going back to the competitions, you know, I learned a lot from, you know, speeding up my times. And then I remember, like, when we was there, I was still going to Salon International with him doing the shows. And then I remember seeing Tony and Guy, and I remember seeing, like, how big their stand was. It was always in the centre, it was always the biggest
massive,
one.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
And then I got to the stage with about 5 years into my career that I thought I just wanted to learn ladies hairdressing. Like, no reason why. I just thought, you know, I want to learn something a bit different, a bit new. So with that, I went back to my hometown in Maidstone, applied for a job to Tony and Guy, and then started there, and then I had to retrain again, like anything, you know, like I had to go through the barbering process, had to learn about how to blow dry hair, sectioning hair, because as a barber, you don't really do any of the section patterns. It's very much your client's there, you just cut it just as it is. Yeah. And then from that, started in Maidstone, had to retrain, And then I worked for Maidstone, Canterbury, Ashford, Tunbridge Wells, and then I went to Bluewater. And then when I was in Bluewater, that's when I think I was about must have been about 27, and that's when I really thought to myself, you know what, I really want to push myself in the industry, because it's like, you know, the hair industry is such a massive industry, and there's so much that you can do, there's so many different avenues. So I thought, you know, in order to really push myself, I need to come to London. So I started in London back when I was 28, and then started in Tony Guy in Covent Garden, and then that's when I realised that I'm literally the smallest fish in the biggest pond ever. So I thought, right, I need to really if I want to push myself in the industry, I need to really do something different. And I think it's like anything, if you want to do something different, if you want to make an impact, you have to do something different. So then it was the whole, I suppose, 5 years ago was when the whole men's trend started to really explode, not just within hairdressing, but within fashion as well. And then I decided to really start to combine the barbering and the hairdressing together. So it's kind of like understanding and utilising the different techniques and, you know, the different styles that I kind of got taught through barbering, and then just combining that with hairdressing. So from that, then that's when I got introduced to doing more photo shoots. So back in 2013, I decided to enter the British Hairdressing Awards. And I remember back then, like, a lot of people was just like, you know, that's a very, very big competition. You get a lot of big names entering it. Are you sure you want to do something like that? And I just thought, you know what, like, yeah, sod it, why not? Like,
what have you got to
yeah,
lose
exactly.
You know what I mean?
So I just thought, you know what, I'll enter that. And then, like anything, being in London, there's so much creativity. So I met different photographers, different models. And then I just decided to create a collection. And the collection that I kind of thought to myself that I'd wanted to actually produce was working on different multicultural like backgrounds. So working on black hair, Afro hair, Caucasian hair, Oriental hair, just all different types and different lengths as well. And then back in 2013, like obviously once I entered the photos, I found out I got through to the finalists, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is crazy. And then had to reshoot again, and then from that, then it came to the awards night, and then yeah, literally they called up my name, and I ended up winning like back in 2013, and I was just like literally like, what the hell, like, you know, no one knew who I was, and then it was from there that everything started to really sort of progress from there, and that's when I kind of clocked like, right, okay, I've achieved that. What else could I actually really achieve now? So I really started pushing myself, and then worked my way up within Tony and Guy, started teaching in the academy, and then eventually got given my art director's presentation, and then just started travelling the world globally and doing all that.
Do you know what? I mean, going back to what you just said there, I mean, you just said earlier on, which I picked up on, which I think everybody at home should pick up on this, is that, you know, whenever you're in a salon, you're saying, Jesus, I'm a small fish in a big pond here. I mean, the industry is, I mean, there's a lot of small fishes in big ponds, right?
Yeah.
So how do you create a name for yourself? Even whenever you look at salons, there's generally, you know, there's 20 odd staff in there. How do you create a niche within that? And you did create that niche, and I like that, because, I mean, we try and promote this as much as you can, whether you're a long hair specialist, whether you're a balayage specialist, colour, or you're doing cutting, shortcut specialist. If you create niches within a salon environment, you know, I mean, the rest will follow. You'll start building clientele within that area, and then you'll build on other things. So you'll start welcoming other sorts of, you know, long hair, colour, cutting, everything. And I love the way you actually just focused in on the men's, because you made a name for yourself within the men's. I mean, along with that, you won the British Hairdressing Award. I mean, what does that mean to you? I mean, winning awards like that, does that sort of, I mean, not unless you capitalise on it. I think you've got to really, you know, capitalise on that and progress through it, right?
I mean, like, with all the awards that I've entered, like, I've entered a lot of awards, and I've become finalist for a lot of awards, and I've won a lot of awards, and I think the main reason why I actually probably enter awards and competitions is actually to push myself.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very much a self-motivated person. Like, I don't need someone to tell me, oh, you have to do this, you know, I'll push yourself, why don't you do this shoot? Like, I'm very much, if I know there's an award or a competition coming up, I will literally push myself to try and see how much I can progress within that. And of course, like, I think I used to think to myself, okay, yeah, who's my main competition? And I was like, my main competition is myself.
Yeah,
it's
totally,
just to try and be a better person than I was last year or last month, you know. And it's even the case when I'm cutting hair or I'm demonstrating or doing education. Like, I do it, competitions, like I said, I do it for myself, and I think it's one of those ones that people do it for the wrong reasons sometimes, because they want the fame, they want the limelight, they want to be like, oh yeah, that was me, that one. And don't get me wrong, it's amazing when you win awards and you become finalists and stuff like that. But I think, you know, you think about who's actually judging these competitions. There's other hairdressers, there's other people. But then, in fact, that's a matter of taste. Yeah. The reason why I love our industry is because it's so creative. There is no wrong or right. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's the great thing about it. I think it's just, you know, you've got to do things for the right reasons. Yeah. You know, and like I said, I mean, the reason, you know, what does it mean to me doing the British Hairdressing Awards? It means I'm trying to better myself within my industry that I'm in.
Yeah, and it's all down to graft. You've got to put the graft and the hard work in. Nobody pays more attention to your own future than you.
Exactly.
And no matter what, I mean, you can't blame anybody else. I mean, even with training, when we talk about training, right? At like assistant levels and coming through the ranks, I truly believe nobody cares more about your future than yourself. And that's what I mean. The time that you put into it, the graft that you put into it, you know, carves your entire future. And, you know, it's something that you have done actually, which is great. Look, I mean, you've cut Aaron Ramsey's hair. I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I'm an Evertonian, just for the record. Who were they? Everton are a great team. But look, yeah, you've worked with many different celebrity icons. You've done Ollie Proudluck, and Ricky Hall, a massive sort of icon in the influencers. Yeah. Wasn't he? What's it like?
I mean, these guys. A lot of these guys, when I cut their hair, a lot of it's either if I'm doing like an editorial shoot, like for a magazine. So I've got a couple of different magazines that I've worked with before in like the past, and that I work with now, obviously in present. You know, I've worked with the likes of like Esquire, Shortlist, GQ, as well as Men's Health as well. And you know, fortunately enough, a lot of the times whenever I'm working on the shoots with them, they kind of, you know, they give me the opportunity to work with all these high-listed like celebrities, and it's amazing. It's great, but I always say, you know, how I treat them is exactly how I treat everyone else. I don't treat them any differently. You know, I don't try and brown nose them or anything like that. I'm very much, you know, at the end of the day, they're just like everyone else. They're just a client, you know.
You seem like a humble kind of guy.
Yeah, always, man. I don't believe in trying to, you know, one thing, like I think what you just said is right. It's working hard. It's the graft that you put in, and it's the passion that we have in our industry. And talking about, you know, education, I think it's great that you do things like this, because I think online education is the way forward. You know, people can learn in their own time, because, you know, as we know, everyone's always on the go. Exactly.
It's passive.
But I mean, these guys, it's amazing, because it's like when I do speak to them on a level, and I'm not trying, like, I don't even watch football, so I don't even ask questions about football. You know, a lot of these guys that I cut, I just talk to them on a level. You know, I don't try and grill them. I like, you know, like, oh, what's happening on the, you know, made in Chelsea, you know, or what's happening in the football scene or anything like that. I'm just like, so what's your favourite type of food? Like, I'll just talk to them about regular, just conversations that we'd have, like, in general, you know.
Listen, man, you're a big social media guy as well. You've got massive following. What does, I mean, any advice you can give us for social media? I mean, even new people coming into, like a youngster coming in through, like, an assistant level. Do you recommend they have social media accounts producing the work on it? Or?
Yeah, I think social media is great. I think it's a great way to showcase your own work. It's a great way to kind of showcase a story on your life. I mean, with me, with my social media, I do try and mix it up. I don't always just do work-oriented stuff. Like, I kind of more or less try and mix it up, like real day-to-day stuff. Like, if I'm traveling, or if I've gone to the park with my girlfriend, or just anything around, or food that I like. But then I do know people that are very, very clever with their social media, and they do use it as a business platform. You know, but it is a great way to showcase your work. But also, what I like is actually a great way to see what you was doing last year. So it's kind of like, it's good to see it as a progression. Exactly. But I think to anyone who's up and coming, like if they want to like catch on to social media, definitely, you know, it's good. You know, I think just be true to yourself though. Don't try and. Don't get me wrong, everything's been done before, you know, and when people say, oh yeah, so-and-so's copied so-and-so, it's like, no, that's just BS. Like, everything's been done. It's like fashion. What goes around comes around. I think it's just about putting your own spin into it, but, you know, use it to the, you know, the right way.
Yourself,
exactly.
Use your own identity.
Exactly.
make it. Yeah, yeah. I totally. I mean, even with social, what we were sort of saying. I mean, people have said to us on Instagram, it's like treat it like a magazine, and it's so true. Like, I mean, many years, hairdressers have tried to get their work published and trying to get magazines, trying to do features and editorial work and things like that. I mean, you almost can have your own magazine now.
Yes.
And you publish your own work at a click of a button, which is amazing. I think it's completely turned the industry on its head, really.
Just wait till Instagram starts charging people for Instagram, right?
I know. Make the most of it now, because in 5 years down the line, it's going to be different again, isn't it?
Pay per post.
Yeah, Jesus, that's what's going to happen. And it's happening now, actually. Yeah. Jesus. Who would be your hair muse if I was to choose one, or even several?
Who would be my muse?
Yeah, like, I mean, who would you look at in the industry, whether it be, hairdressing or barbering?
It's such a hard question. I get that all the time. Yeah. Like, who inspires you, and like, who do you look up to? And I tell you what, who I look up to and who inspires me is people that literally want to make something of themselves. Yeah. And I was actually saying this to Nick, actually, the guy that I'm about to cut, and I was like, that inspires me when someone has a vision and a dream to do something, and they just work and they just do not let anyone stop them in the way. That's what inspires me. And that comes down to the assistants as well. I love assistants, I love training assistants. And it's when you see that spark in the eye and they want to learn it and they get frustrated when they can't do something. And you're like, do you know what? And you're like, do you know what? Just relax, you're going to get it. And then when they get it and they turn around and say to you, thank you so much. And that inspires me, because it's like, it's someone that's actually learning. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I look up to a lot of other hairdressers and barbers. I'm not going to put any names because everyone's amazing out there in the industry. Yeah. But I try and have my own identity, and I try and do my own things myself, you know? Yeah, yeah. I don't try and I don't copy anyone, like, I just do my own thing, you know? And I think at the same time, there is no wrong or right. I just do what I like. Yeah. People like it, they like it. If they don't, then it doesn't bother me. Yeah, you're going to unfollow me. You
know what, you mentioned something, it was like, I look at that as like an obsession. Do you know what I mean? People like get obsessed. Yeah. And it's like, it becomes their life, you know? Yeah. I hit the one girl the other day who was teaching the other day, and she was so disappointed that she didn't, I had to take bits off it and things like that. And she sat there, and I was like, I love that. I absolutely love the way
they're passionate about it.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. She looks at me and she goes, why do you like that? I was like, because it shows you're so dedicated towards it. It becomes an obsession. It's good.
I was teaching yesterday in a salon group, and this one guy afterwards just said to me, he was like, look, thank you so much. I tell you what, that is more than money can buy to me. Yeah. When someone genuinely actually really means it, and you can see it in their eyes and the way how they actually say it, that's when I'm like, you know what, I've done a good job. Yeah. I know that I've done what I've come to do, Yeah,
that's good, that's good. Look, today you're going to be doing fade finessing. Tell us a little bit about some of the, you're doing a crossover, aren't you? We're using hairdressing techniques and barbering techniques as well. Tell us a little bit about the course that you're going to be doing.
So it's kind of what I'm going to showcase for the guys today is that whole sort of bridging the gap between the two. If we think about, it still is now, like barbering is sort of like in one end of the spectrum and hairdressing in the other end of the spectrum. And it's just about fusing the two together. So it's kind of working on barbering techniques, it's working with hairdressing techniques, how you can kind of combine them together. Because, I educate all around the world, and one thing that I find is when I'm teaching hairdressers, they want to learn barbering techniques. Yeah. When I'm teaching barbers, they want to learn hairdressing techniques.
True.
So it's very much just combining the two together, and it's, it's like anything, it's putting a spin into it. And like I said, there's no wrong or right. There's so many different ways and techniques that you can approach things. But what I'm going to be showing the guys today, there's a bit of hair that's going to come off. It is working with the skin fade, which I think for hairdressers is something very, very hard to do.
We haven't done that yet as well, which is good.
But then it's when you're working on length from the top, it's understanding, okay, you want to build up shape, if you want to build up texture, do you want to build up strength. So it's just showing guys different techniques, but again, it's keeping it in the most simplistic format. Because I think at the same time, whenever you educate someone, you don't want to overcomplicate it. It's just understanding what does the client want, or what do you want to achieve within the haircut, and just thinking about the best route to get there,
Very good, very good. So listen guys, we're going to get ready anyway for Kevin's class today at 2:30. So if you don't have a ticket, you can get one. You can go into hairdressinglive.com and you can purchase your ticket now. Remember, you will have this for life. So tune in, and look, this is a very informal virtual classroom, so you can ask questions. There's a little bubble in the top right hand corner where you can ask questions. So during the end of your class, we'll have some questions coming in, so you'll be able to answer those for people. So listen, we'll look forward to seeing you all at 2:30 today. Okay, thanks a lot, Kevin.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you.
We're out.